All right, let's just get my crying out of the way early. Jamal Fogarty, 7 with an injury. Just what we needed on our Easter Sunday, hey? Perfect score like that. I knew I'd get some karma for having meat on Friday. But there you go. A good week turns into a pretty average week. I pretty much just sort of left, like what my brother had to do. Had Jack Bird, had Averillo, and just decided to play with one less centre and 16 players. Pretty much what Fogarty did. All right. If you enjoy watching me suffer, please hit like, please hit subscribe, and we'll move into our Saturday night game. So, Sharks and Cowboys, another one that we can be sad about is those that don't own Townsend and talked about him in the preseason. 76 in this game against my poor Cowboys, who really, really suck. We had to have Holmes and Hamiso that did okay, and that's about it. But a complete dominant performance from the Sharks, led by Townsend. 3 tries, assists, 8 goals, 537 meters, just kick meters, just did everything. Whatever you wish you could have got out of Townsend, you're getting that now. And after his 40 last week, he picks up 76 and will make some extra cash and an average of 57.5. If he does that again for the next few weeks, then he'll quickly be up around that 700k mark, which is great for anyone who owns him. But Johnson will be coming back soon, and milk every one of those points and all those price riders while you can, and go from there. And Connor Tracy in the centres there picks up a 68, and that's a couple of weeks in a row now. He's played in the centres and probably will be over the next few weeks, just with all the injuries they've picked up, unfortunately. And it looks like they've lost Ronaldo as well to another, which looks like to be another possible MCL injury as well, to go along with Katoa, which is pretty annoying for their squad. But Tracy did great with 2 tries, 6 tackle breaks, 180 metres, and then you look to Will Kennedy, who has also had a great start to the season. 65 this week with 42.8 average. You couldn't really expect anything more from him. If you picked him up at the start of the year, you picked him up at about 380. For him to average 42.8 is great, and he'll be up in the 500s very soon if he can keep a couple of these scores up over the next few weeks. So well done if you picked him up. Shane Wright comes in and picks up 63 in his first full game of the season. So well done to him, and got the 80 minutes. So it'll be interesting to see if that keeps up over the next bunch of weeks. But to get 50 tackles and 1 miss in a team that got smashed is a really great effort. But we'll monitor him over the next few weeks if he's going to be a chance to do well for anyone's squad or not. Hirodi comes in, picks up 59 on the wing as well. So try a couple of line breaks. That did a bit of everything again in a Sharks team that dominated. So well done to him. Tage Wilson comes in and scores off the in the second row in his debut game. So well done to Wilson. Just did a bit of everything, but 216 run meters is awesome. So he looked good in that respect, and picked up 56 for his troubles with not having to do too many tackles. So well done to him. Again, he's only going to be a placeholder for someone like Nakora, who's just suspended at the moment. Maguire did his thing, 55 and 58 minutes, but not going to be an option. Similar with Robson, up and down with his scores at the moment and how many minutes he's got, but he got 80 in the weekend with a score of 51. So well done to him. McLean did okay. Obviously, a lot of tackles for the Cowboys guys, and same with Jensen, 51 in 47 minutes. If you kept him, well done. You picked up a decent score and a nice little price rise for Jensen there. Tolman with 50, Holmes with 50. So since he's moved to the fullback position, a couple of much better scores, and that shows in his average of 41.3. So an okay option there, but at 483k, there's so many good wing fullbacks. I wouldn't be touching him in this Cowboys side. And same with Hamiso. If you happen to keep him, then well done. But he was a sell before this week, and still is a sell. Just had a pretty perfect game with 215 meters, 6 kicked a fuse, a try. Just did a bit of everything. So well done to him. He moves to some of the middles for the Sharks who aren't really relevant in Rudolph Woods and Hamlin Ueli, before we move to Moylan, and picks up another 41. So an average of 34.3 now, and just means you'll be up around that 50 to 60k in price rises. So you could, now that he's got a couple of decent scores in a row, you could probably hold him for a little bit. With his cover there is a bit helpful, but other than that, he's not going to be too much of an option once Johnson comes back, for example. Drinkwater picks up 40. Again, people are thinking about him, but at 435k, he's not going to be a great option. He did take most of the kick meters at 357, which is cool, but other than that, not too much of an option. It's cool to see Magoulias get some decent minutes and a nice score there, but again, not a great option at this stage. This game was there's really not many people that you would have had in this game. It was probably only Townsend, for example, in that squad. But Blake Brayley, really really sad score for him. He's really being outshadowed by his brother, unfortunately. 29 in 59 minutes. Yeah, not even getting the full 80 like Jaden would be, and just only had to do 14 tackles. Got a try assist in there, but if you have him in your squad, I think you've got to get rid of him at this stage. Just not doing enough. Ben Condon, a few people might have been interested in picking him up, but 22 and 80 minutes is not good enough at all, but obviously on debut, so will only improve from there, you'd hope. Cohen Hess, how bad is he? Seriously. 16 and 58 minutes. Remember when he was a gun? We used to have him a few years ago, and he used to absolutely dominate, but not to be this stage. But there you go, guys. That's that first game, and we'll move on to the second one, and just a little bit all over the shop with this one. We have our big man Tino coming out and picking up an 80. Crazy. I think it was probably the last week everyone decided to really get rid of him. Anyone who held him, or the most part, for those people that held him, decided to get rid of him this week, and he comes out with 71 minutes and 80 points with 7 tackle breaks, 39 tackles for 3 misses and 200 meters, turnover tackle, a line break, just a bit of everything. So well done if you're still a Tino owner. Why can't these guys just come out and do well from the jump? Why do they have to wait 3-4 weeks to have a good game and then just make you feel like crap? What's the theory there? Yeah, that's all I got to say. Well done, Tim. If you have him, well done, and stop gloating that you have him. Seriously. If you're in those, the Facebook groups, Discords, whatever, if you've got him, be happy that you've decided to keep him. Well done with that, but don't need to gloat to the people that traded him. But what's the point there? He was averaging 35 before this game. It was inflated stats this game. He won't score 80 every week. He might end up being the keeper that we were all hoping for. But please don't gloat. What's the point in that? Yeah, it makes you feel good for a second. Well done. Just look at your score and be happy with that rather than gloating to everyone in the group. So that's all I've got to say on that one. Papa Lee, a few people looking to trade him out, but picked up a try and got 67, so well done. A few people thinking about Ryan Sutton. Just remember that Tarpanay will come back very soon, and Sutton's scores won't be as high. But he's done really well in his 2 big minute games. Dave Fafita, if you bought him in this week, you're happy with his 65. He's going to be very quickly up into the 800s and beyond. So I think definitely this was going to be his lowest price during the year. And just doesn't have to do too much to score really well, which is great. And then we move on to Nickel Cookstar. Had a really nice game. A bunch of offloads in there that led to tries. 270 meters. A try saver in there. Just did a bit of everything. So well done to him if you're still holding on. But an average of 42 is a little bit annoying. Over that first 4 games for him. Corey Thompson continues to just do really well. Has always been priced fairly high for a winger fullback, but is just being really strong, and he's very similar to what Brian To'o is doing in the moment. Just super consistent, gets the run meters, gets the tackle breaks, and then the odd try as well to get scores a lot higher. So well done to Corey Thompson. Mo Whaitawaka playing off the bench. He shows that you can still score well off the bench with 56 minutes for a 57 all-in base stat. So well done to him. Josh Hudson did okay again, 53. So an average of 47.3 means that he's been underpriced this since the start, but it's taken a very long time for his prices to start rolling, and we'll start to see that now with his 53 and a good score last week as well. So well done if you own Hodgson. Then Rapana. So I ended up bringing Rapana into the alternates team this week, and he delivered again with a try save, a try with 7 tackle breaks, 140 meters. So just doing a bit of everything again. Really happy with his output, and not sure if he's going to be a buyer from this week on, as I think he's obviously going to make 30, 40, 50k more this week. I haven't checked the break evens, but well done if you picked up Rapana as that centre and wing fullback gun. I think he's definitely a gun in the centres, but not in the wing fullback. So I expect him to be averaging somewhere in the 40s, which you'd be happy with as a centre. Moving on to Mitch Rain, same thing. He's just hitting that 50 in 47, 48, 50 minutes kind of thing, and awesome work. Imagine he played 80, he'd be dominating at the moment. But yeah, well done. Ryan James picks up 49 in his 42 minutes, so his PPM's been incredible. Even with his injury affected high HIA score, he's still averaging 40 for the year. So well done if you had him from the start. He's kind of been very solid for you, and apart from last week. But yeah, there you go. Hudson Young, another one of those edge forwards that just didn't do everything that they had been doing those first few weeks, like with Elliott, Hudson Young, these types of guys scoring tries those first few games. This is going to be around their base, 40 to 50 somewhere is their base. And if you can be okay with that mentally, that they're going to score some games in the 40s, and then if they score a try, they're up in the 60s to 70s, then then well done. But it was good to see him come back and play the full 80 after his small injury the week before. Proctor's just been okay. Herbert, he's finally his best score of the year. One of those games where 7 tackle breaks, couple offloads, 150 meters. So well done to him, even when they get beat fairly badly. Whiten 45, been a bit annoying if you own him. He's probably not, with him and Williams really splitting the role this year in terms of kick meters and everything, and Williams taking the goal kicking before Croker came back. I don't imagine Whiten is going to be he's definitely not going to be a top line keeper in your half position. So he's probably someone you can look to move on with. With guys like Schuster, Walker, you got Cleary, so many guys that are doing really well in the halves, and you probably don't need to have him in your squad. Tanner Boyd had to do a little bit extra, the kicking and did pretty well, especially when Fogarty went down injured. Williams did okay. This was sort of his lowest game of the year. If you picked him up this week, unfortunate, but he'll be back to scoring really well. Sammy's done well in his couple of games, not an option. Whitehead also. Brimson, 35 this game. Again, didn't have to do too much. And this is the base I'll be expecting from Brimo and on a regular basis, 170 metres. But I can understand why people are losing the faith in someone like Brimson. But just remember, think of it, the sunk cost fallacy as one of them. But he's already dropped a lot of money, and you've just got to go, okay, what's he going to be like from here onwards? Is it going to be worth holding on to him? Is he going to score a bit better? We all don't know, but he has the pedigree to do really well. So just think of it from that point. If you've kept him to this stage, have you got someone that you can trade to a keeper or write to a cash cow for him? Or is it worth making that trade when his base is going to be around that 30 odd? He's going to have a big game soon, you'd imagine. But think about Tino and what happened to him. A bunch of really low games and then a big one. So think about Brimson that way. Tyrone Peachey had to move into the halves once Fogarty went down, and that's partly the reason for his lower score. But he just didn't have the attacking stats that he used to have. Three missed tackles, couple of errors, couple of penalties. Just did everything not perfectly this game. And as we've said with Peachey, if you have him in your centres, you use that 30 as kind of his floor, and then he's got the 40 to 50 to score really well. So well done to Peach there. Unfortunately, not as good this week. The rest of the guys, not too important. Simonson with 21, not exactly what you want, and he's just going to be a placeholder on your bench if you've got him there. And then it's really only Fogs at the bottom there. That's the real pain in the ass. Had some missed tackles on White, and I saw, and a few others like that. And you could just see like the missed tackle on Papali'i at the end there, where before he went off was not great. He didn't really look like he wanted to get in there with that injury. So the missed tackles and a couple of errors. There's one that he passed and he was looking the other way before he even caught it. So just a really shocking game for him. Really sad for owners like myself. It's always great when when you pick up a pod and then they go down injured or they have a shocker. We're really, if we're going to have an injury, we want it to be one of the guys that's really highly owned. Unfortunately, not the case this time. But we're going to get back on the horse. I hope you guys are all taking my advice. These things we can't really control, then the injuries and stuff like that. But we just got to go with the flow and see what happens with a lot of these guys. But and that last one there is Tom Starling. He's going to be losing plenty of cash, which could be great if he ever happens to be an injury to Hudson. We can bring him in and do really well. But there you go, guys. That's my thoughts on those two Saturday night games. I hope you enjoyed the Sunday games, and we'll see you in the next one. Have a good one, team.